All right, now let's head on to the crypto market. Let's see what's going on there. We see right now it's just fear. It's no more extreme fear in that market. We're seeing the fear greed index showing its 32 points, showing that traders are not as afraid as they were, previously. It's just fear this time, but there's still fear, obviously, in the market. Traders are still cautious. Let's look at the market cap there. We see it's $1.06 trillion. That's up about 8.35%. We saw that boost immediately. The Fed actually raised rates yesterday by 75 basis points. We saw the crypto market actually react to that. Volume traded $92.16 billion. That's up about 48.60%. And see the price of Bitcoin got a massive jump yesterday. It's $23,201 this morning, up just 0.15% this morning. But yesterday it jumped about over 7%. Volume traded $35.13 billion. And we see Ethereum there, $1,646. Ethereum had a massive jump with that news yesterday, about 10%. It's trading about 0.27% up this morning. Volume traded $24.94 billion. All right, let's bring in Amari Sachet now. eCash creator. Great to have you, Amari. Good morning.
Hey, great to be here.
Yeah, so I saw a report about Bitcoin's mining difficulty, falling again, down about 10% from all-time high. But first of all, I want you to tell us what exactly this Bitcoin mining difficulty is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you know, new Bitcoin are created through a process called mining. This process also secure the blockchain and all existing transaction. To do this mining, I say in quote because they are not literally pulling stuff out of the ground, right? They are running computers that do complex computation, and the result of this computation is used to secure the network. The difficulty is literally what it means. It's how difficult it is to mine at a given time. And every 2 weeks in Bitcoin, the difficulty adjusts. Either it becomes more difficult or less difficult to mine, such as a new block is found every 10 minutes, right? So if new miners enter the market, no more people are mining, so the difficulty gets higher. And if miners leave the market, then there are less miners and they find less block, and therefore the difficulty gets lower, so that one block is found every 10 minutes. So the fact that we see the mining difficulty going lower means that there has been some miner who left the market recently, right? This is what it means. And like all in all, it's obviously a bad news for those miners, right? Like it probably means that those miners are going bankrupt, but it's a good news for the market overall, right? We saw last year people over investing into crypto and into Bitcoin. And when people overinvest into something, then they kind of need to go bankrupt at some point, at least some of them, for the market to recalibrate. So what we're seeing right now is the market going back to a baseline that is more reasonable than the one we saw last year. What you need to realize is that those miners, they had to sell the Bitcoin that they mine, right? This is why they are going bankrupt. They are not making enough money mining to cover their costs.
Even though Bitcoin is trading at this price, they're not making enough profit.
Well, because they probably got into the market last year, when Bitcoin was at like 50K or 60K, something like that, right? So they made the cost provision based on that, and they are not profitable at 20K.
Okay,
right?
So
what happens is that when Bitcoins go up, it becomes widely more profitable to mine. And so more and more and more people are getting into mining, right? Such as the cost of mining, equilibrate with the cost of Bitcoin. When Bitcoins go up, it becomes more difficult to mine because more people are going into the market. And as a result, mining Bitcoin becomes more expensive.
Right. So there's a cost to actually mining it. And so you have to make, the profit to actually, keep up with that cost of mining Bitcoin. All right.
Yeah,
so
obviously.
Yeah.
You need to pay the electricity bill. You need to pay the maintenance of the facility where you are your equipment, the mining, all of that as a cost.
And I'm sure there are miners of Bitcoin in Europe, and we know that Europe is going through some gas issues. At this point, that would actually impact Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, at least in Europe, yes. The miners that are in Europe are going to be impacted by that. This is for sure. They probably already are.
I'm sure. But major miners are in what part of the world? The major miners of Bitcoin?
Uh, for the most part, miners are in part of the world where there is a surplus of electricity that is produced because they can use that surplus of electricity for very cheap. So that would be in some part of China, typically like mountainous part of China where they have a lot of hydropower. In Iceland, there are a lot of mining because they have geothermal electricity that is very cheap. In Canada as well, they have a lot of hydropower, so there is a fair amount of mining there. Generally, like everywhere there is a surplus of energy that is produced, is a good place for miners to be.
All right, Verso, I'm going to find out how many miners we actually have here in Nigeria. But, with the global headwinds we're seeing right now, from inflation, emerging economies, having dollar shortages at this point, how is Bitcoin and crypto, playing into all of this?
So obviously the thesis that many crypto advocates are operating on is that, well, because crypto doesn't inflate the way fiat currency does, it's probably going to be good for crypto. It's a reasonable assumption, but we need to be careful because there have been no event of that kind that ever took place while crypto existed, right? Like the last crisis of the scale of the one we are seeing right now was in 2008, and it was before the invention of Bitcoin. So even though the thesis is that Bitcoin and crypto is good in this type of event, we have never verified that in practice. So like people need to be careful.
Right. It remains to be seen, how much crypto helps, with most of these emerging economies. We've seen the Central African Republic actually make, Bitcoin a legal tender, in that country. So we'll see how, it all plays out. All right. Thank you so much, Marius Shea, eCash Creator. It was great having you.
Thank you.
All right, now let's take a look at the market there. We see top alts by market cap there. We see BNB there, $269. That's down about 0.08%. And we see Cardano at 50 cents, down 0.02%, marginally down. But eCash, there's a big mover there, up about 10.32%. XRP, 35 cents. That's down about 0.23%. Let's look at the top 5 gainers. We see a fat list there with Leader Dow there, $2.16. That's up about 43%. With that, we saw major altcoins actually jumping after the Fed actually raised rates yesterday as other markets. And we see Bitcoin Gold there, one of the forks of Bitcoin, $27.18. That's up 27%. And SNX there, $3.78, up about 27.05%. And we see QTUM, $4.44, one of the oldies in the crypto market that's up 24.87%. And Uniswap, decentralized exchange, $8.28, up 24.41%. We see the top 5 losers list quite lean this morning, mostly stable coins, showing that traders are getting into the market at this point, trying to make some profit with those altcoins.